SirNam. For those who don't know me, my name is SirNam Singh Khalsa, and I'm the director of Khalsa Youth Camp. Espanola, New Mexico, Ramdas Puri, the land of the angels. And I was thinking the other night, talking to my wife Kitten, that I've been fortunate to be able to come to this camp for over 30 years. 30 years! And honestly, each one of those years has been unique and different, and very special. But there's always been one constant throughout all those years, and that is what we call the Khalsa Spirit and the Khalsa values. And I'm going to spend a few minutes sharing with you what that is. When Yogi Bhajan was alive, he would come to camp and visit us twice a summer, every summer. It was the highlight of his summer, he would tell me. And when he would come in the middle of the summer, he would tell stories sometimes. He would have activities, give a meditation to the children, adjust their auras, tell me what to add or change in the daily activities. And I would ask him a lot of questions. I would take the opportunity to ask him about our diet, the activities that support his vision and the values that he wants the children to learn. I would talk to him about childcare strategy. I would talk to him about the adults. I would talk to him about the staff, the teenagers, everybody and everything. When I first became director, I asked him the question, what kind of camp do you want this to be? Because my experience with camps were a traditional Boy Scout camp. And he said, I'll tell you the type of camp I don't want it to be, and that is one that caters to our children's egos. He says, I want a camp that supports their leadership skills, that prepares them to be leaders for the Aquarian age, that a camp that helps them to give them the skills and the esteem that will enable them to meet any life's challenge with both confidence and grace. And then it was my responsibility to work with like-minded adults to design the activities that support these values he spoke of. Let me give you an example of how he taught. He came up one summer and he asked the children, is everybody happy? And a lot of them said yes sir, yes sir. He said, is anyone not happy? And a couple of children raised their hand and he said, why? And he said, we don't like breakfast. And he said, you don't like breakfast? What do you mean you don't like, with the food? It's food. And he says, we don't like oatmeal. So he looked at me and he said, 2 days. I said, 2 days? He said, comparative study. He said, these children have to learn to have a reflective consciousness, one that compare the negative and the positive. So he wanted me to not serve him breakfast for 2 days, which we did. And then at the end of camp, he came up and he watched the presentation, which he always loved. Some brought tears to his eyes. And he asked me, he said, what about those children? And I said, sir, we didn't serve them breakfast for 2 days, and then we served them breakfast, and they loved it. And he said, what did you serve them? And I said, oatmeal. And the value there is an attitude of gratitude. Being grateful for everything you're given. He didn't want us to raise spoiled children. Our camp is unique. They rise in the morning. They have the first opportunity to discipline their mind through taking a cold rinse. And then they walk up to the tantric shelter with the Sangre de Cristo mountains in front of them, with this pure, clean, pranic New Mexican air, and they do their yoga. Kundalini yoga, specially designed sets for children their ages 4 to 12. And they relax, deeply relax, and they come out of the relaxation and we chant. Then they walk into their Gurdwara and they hear more uplifting stories of saints and sages before them, and chant the Guru's Shabad. And then they listen to the Guru's prayer, the hukam of the day, and we translate it in their language. Then they walk out of the Gurdwara, have their Guru Prasad, and they start their day with a delicious vegetarian diet. I know some people come to camp just for the food. But let me tell you, there are staff that come back year after year that are devoted to raising these children and supporting their leadership skills. And two in particular I want to mention. One man, his name is Sensei Guru Jodha Singh from California. And he has the gift of leadership. And he helps those children that take his martial arts classes to understand the balance of warrior saint. what it is to be a peaceful warrior. And another staff member that I'm sure many of you know is SirNam. She's been coming to camp with her family, directing Sikh Dharma studies and music. And she shares the gift of bhajan, song, that she's been given. And we have young staff, middle-aged staff, and senior staff members, like me. All there to serve your children. At nighttime is a special time. You know that as a parent. And our children get together in their families, and they do a meditation together. And then it's a time to share. And they practice something I call CPR. Not that CPR that you pump the chest. It's CPR, which is an acronym for Circle of Power and Respect. They learn to share, to communicate clearly, and to listen to their peers. And then they go to bed, and it starts again. So I hope you can go on our website. Actually, if you're watching this, you're on our website. But you can see what we do. And you can make arrangements to send your children 2 weeks this summer, because it's going to be special. SirNam asked me a couple summers ago if we can do a project, a CD project, that we can record the songs of Khalsa Youth Camp. And that project is culminating this summer. So if your children are there the second week, they will be on the CD. And it's turning into SirNam's second children's album. Please, try to make it work for them. Because I know as a parent, being a parent of 3 children, that we never really know if we're getting it right. You know, the notion of, is this really working? And I'm sure many of you have wrestled with that. You always hope, you always pray that you give your children the resources they need, you know, the values, the positive mental attitude, the courage. And that's what it's all about. You know, not to rescue them, not to fight their battles, but getting them prepared to fight their own. Teaching them to make judgments, to think for themselves. Not to be dependent, but to be dependable people. To meet life's challenges with confidence and grace. You know, to live that Khalsa spirit. You know, spirit that is not blinded by prejudice, not blinded by anger and by ego, but grounded in the truth. And I believe children, you know, children are like pure repositories of the human spirit. And we do everything we can at this camp in those short 2 weeks to have a profound effect on their spirit, to help them understand and create a relationship, a personal relationship with their spirituality. So I want to end this with a short song about Khalsa Youth Camp. I want to be free, free to be me. Want to be free, free to be me. Wake up in the morning, the showers are cold, makes my body feel strong and bold. Khalsa Youth Camp is where I want to be. Stretching, breathing, chanting the Nam makes my body feel totally calm. Yoga helps me see that I want to be free, free to be me. Want to be free, free to be me. Woo! SirNam.